Okay, so I'm gonna explain something, just clear things a bit, because I want to state my opinion on something in particular. Now, I'm gonna start on my statement here. Is that recently, I've been seeing a lot of people say things like things about school in particular, and it's just a quick note for people. Is that like, oh, school is making me depressed. School is making me cry in my room, and my parents don't care about me. Oh, blah. and I don't like to make those kind of like rants on people, but what I'm saying is that people tend to over exaggerate and be way too dramatic about certain things, like school and whatever. Like, oh, my parents only care about my grades, and that is true for some people out there. And I'm just saying that it is true. Some parents do not care about their children, but I want you guys to think about this. When you have to consider that the adults teachers, the teachers that you're so angered at, the adults, your parents that you're so angered at, you need to realize that these adults are also human, just like you two. They were little kids like you as well. They used to be children. They had parents too. It's literally the same thing. And no doubt, I can guarantee you, they probably had the same struggles as you. They probably thought, oh, school is corrupting my mind. School is evil, blah, blah, blah. And I don't understand that, because everybody goes through it. And I don't think you should be blaming school, but you should probably blame yourself. And that's the issue today, is that people don't know how to blame them. People don't know how to say, it's my fault. People are always looking for another person to blame. People, like, for example, I know, like, I see people on the internet that are like, oh, I blame my teachers. They're always degrading my mental stability and stuff like that. And that's the point. They're always looking for a person to blame. And I don't think that's justifiable, because here's an example. This is a correct example of what losers want to do. They blame people instead of themselves. They're like, oh, I'm not here. I'm not in the place where I wanted to be because of my teacher, or because of my parents, because of this guy who is bullying me. You should try blaming yourself for once. Try thinking, I should have done this better. And if you're thinking, and if you did do that, then maybe you're not trying hard enough. I'm just saying. I don't mean to like hurt anybody's feelings or anything, but I'm just saying that maybe you're not trying hard enough. Like, and then they're like, oh, because of my friends, I have fake friends. And no offense to anybody, are you really that much of a loser to the point where you can't get any friends in your school, in a school filled with like 300 plus students? You can't get any friends. Are you that much of a loser? Are you really that much of an unlikable person? Like, I'm not trying to degrade anybody anymore, but what I'm saying is that these people are just being way too dramatic about their problems. Like, they have to realize what they have, and that a lot of people would do something to take their spot. Look at like little kids. Look at little African kids who have poor education. They literally sit outside on like haystacks, and you have this whole big building where millions of teachers are able to teach you things. Look at kids who don't even get school. I bet they would like to learn how to spell things out, or learn the alphabet, or learn to count Like, I bet they would want to do that too. And think about this. You have it better than a lot of adults do too. And people over exaggerate things. They're like, oh, I have to work all day. They're making us, this is basically child labor. And like, think of what they did back then. That's child labor. Like, you live in one of the most you live in one of the most free countries of the world. You don't realize the amount of freedom that you have. Like, oh, I'm living in the most just country in the world. I live in the school who has I live in some of the most least strictest schools in our country. This is so sad. And I want to say that I do believe adults who work 9 to 5 jobs and children who are like starving in Africa and don't get a proper education must actually feel bad for you, don't they? Like, they must really feel bad for you. Like, dads who are looking at their computer day and night must really feel bad for you. And I'm not the type of person to be like, oh, look, there's kids starving in this other country back there, because I think that's not reasonable. But like, think about that when you complain, you know that they're like, when you complain, think about this. My mom is doing work too. My dad is doing work too. You're not the center of the world. Everybody around you is doing work. You're not the only person in this world doing work. You're not getting overexhausted. And like, I blame society. I blame this. That's exactly what losers do. They try to blame everybody to the point where they don't even know how to take fault for themselves, and where they don't know how to take their own responsibility. And that's just like completely pathetic. That's just like completely stupid, to be honest. And like, I do think that our school needs a few problems to be fixed. They do need a few problems to be fixed, but just know their life is going to carry you in that order. And if you don't want life to carry you like that, then you have to take control of it. If you're letting yourself be sad all day, you're like, oh, I have a fake smile, I'm dream from that one music video, and I'm like, shut up. I will literally smack you in the face right now. You're not starving or anything. You're not working 9 to 5 jobs. You're not working day and night. You are not depressed from school. Wake up, please. You're not depressed. You're not oppressed. You're not you have that opportunity that a lot of don't. And you don't realize it. Think about this. I want you to think about this. And I know people watching this are probably going to laugh at this, but I'm just going to say it. There were millions of sperms traveling to your mom's womb. And guess who won that race? It was literally you. You are literally that lucky, to the point where you get to have an education, a house, food to eat. You're not dead yet. So stop trying to pretend like, oh, I'm putting on this mask, I'm putting on this depressor persona. Because I know that people with actual depression must be offended at what you're saying, and they must actually be like, trust me, I don't think you're actually trying to do that. Because you're just saying. Because you don't have depression. Depression is a mental illness. You do not have a mental illness. And that's not me saying that people can't get depression from school. I do think that's realistic. I do think that's possible. You could get like depression from school, legit. But what are the odds of an average middle class boy or girl getting that? Like, that's pretty low odds. Like, when I go to school, my friend isn't like, the school system is broken, like wearing his hoodie all on and putting on his emo hair, covering his eye, and like shut up. Just saying, like, you're not oppressed or anything. Like, you're fine. And they say, like, parents try to say we're fine, and yes, you are. And this is coming from a child myself. And yeah, that's just what I'm saying. Because shouldn't the love of people be enough for you? And if you're saying nobody loves me, then are you really that much of like an unlikable person that nobody loves you? Like not like you're not just gonna be born into the world and your mom's gonna look down at you after having you, gonna be like, oh, I don't love her, take her back in, doctor. Like no one thinks that. No one just takes one look at you unless they're that much of a stupid person, unless they're that much of an a-hole. They're not gonna be like, hey, look at her, she probably killed 5 children. Like no one doing that. Like if no one loves you, there's a reason for it. So yeah, that's just what I want to say. That please, you like, if you're actually depressed, I'm gonna need some proof on that, because like, remember, you could still feel depressed, but like, remember, depression is a mental illness. It's not like, oh, I feel depressed, this is my new persona now. Just saying, if you're actually depressed, like, please actually get help, and I'm gonna need proof for that one, because people usually say that and they have zero proof. Yeah, that's just what I wanted to say. It's just a quick rant. It's gonna be a little rare if I make these kinds of videos, because usually in my videos I sound like really quiet and I sound like calm, and like I usually just think about it in the moment, and like, but this video is something like a topic like I think people don't notice. And yeah, that's all. And here you go. See you guys soon.